Hi, thanks, Robert, for that introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Kathy Seinerth. I am a service delivery manager with Retail Business Services. I'm in the process controls and analytics area, so I work mainly in reporting and with performance analytics. So Retail Business Services is the shared services division of Ahold USA. Um, it's an international retail organization, and some of the domestic brands you might recognize are Food Lion, Hannaford, Stop and Shop, Giant Food, Giant Martins, and Peapod. So I want to say that I've attended every virtual user group that VividCharts has put out. I've taken the VividCharts training, I've scoured the documents, I've tested a lot and tried a lot of different things. But these virtual user groups are really the most helpful things that I have found to help me kind of move along in using VividCharts, along with Robert's insight and guidance. So moving along, we implemented VividCharts back in August of 2020, and admittedly, it took us a few months to really start working in the tool and realizing the value that it brings. Our concerns, probably the same as a lot of other groups that have presented, mainly data being exported, having to manually work it, create charts, and then send that email out. So there's a lot of activity for data that's static and already stale. So another major concern was the ability to share the dashboards and the report charts easily to those outside of the snow environment. But the real catalyst to diving in and using the tool effectively was our monthly period ops meetings and brand reviews. So we were asked to start providing more actionable insights and those call for action metrics. What we were providing for period ops and brand reviews, it was really time consuming to gather, manipulate, and then turn it around. And we weren't really even sure the same metrics produced for our analysts were what executive and brand leadership needed to see and could use. So, overall, we wanted to be more proactive versus reactive. Now, that isn't to say, that we are not utilizing ServiceNow in the best possible way. We are a data-driven organization, and we do analytics very well. Our team has developed dashboards for every vendor, for every brand, with as many breakdowns as possible, so the analysts can slice and dice the data to the nth degree. There really isn't any reason for our brand and vendor analysts to not know and understand what is going on in their areas. I'm going to show you a couple of examples of what we've created in the snow environment, and then we can compare that to, what VividCharts has helped us do. So this is from our test environment, gives an example of incident response and resolve metrics for one of our vendors. RBS works with a lot of different vendor partners for specific functions like maybe call center assistance. And all SLA metrics are based on each vendor's contract. So this type of dashboard allows each vendor team to see over periods of time where they're doing. And we set targets here for each line item to show green if they've met or exceeded, and then of course red to see if they've fallen below the target. You can see the tabs are in place for monthly, weekly, daily, as well as a stats tab that kind of just gives an overview of like all new, open, pending, and resolve tickets. And we have similar looking dashboards for the changes that they submit here and here. So I didn't want to have you guys have to look at each one of these because this presentation isn't about what we've created in Snow, but these dashboards provided the basis for the majority of our vendor performance dashboards in VividCharts. So I thought it was important for everyone to get an understanding of how we created what we did, so that we could see that how it translated over to VividCharts, which we'll get to in just a minute. So just another from our test environment, this shows our incident workspace view, quick views on SLAs, and these are definitely metrics that will show in our vendor dashboard reporting also. And then this is a truncated version of our brand review. So the brand is able to see how many incidents by priority, open to resolved, by assignment group, and then even by brand locations, the total number of open incidents. These metrics in the middle give some just basic, if we have a ticket that's over 7 days old, 14 days old, over 30 days old, these are the metrics, these are the things we might need to look at for the brand. Okay. So if we have all these comprehensive dashboards, what do we need VividCharts for, right? So mainly, we know that these dashboards are geared towards our analysts. So team members that are in ServiceNow every day, they use the dashboards to get their daily work done. Our managers might use these dashboards to monitor activity, make sure the workflow is going. It's good down in the weeds kind of data and information. But we have a new audience. Our audience is executive leadership and brand leadership. So they wouldn't necessarily want to walk through every dashboard and every widget for every area. They just don't have the time for that. They needed an overarching view of what's going on. More importantly, they needed actionable insights. Again, those call to action metrics that will help them determine if the business is going the way it should. So from a vendor view to a brand view to an overall view, everything in one place, we wanted a central hub for them to go to. And that is what VividCharts helped us define. So this is an example of our executive hub. And I'm sure a lot of you are going to recognize the HTML table over here that was presented by Intuit in the Q4 virtual user group. We loved it and we stole it. So thank you, Intuit. Each one of these line items will link out to a dashboard with specific metrics for each one of these areas. Our director asked us if we could add logos here. We had the name, the name Food Line, the name Hannaford, the name Giant Company, but she wanted logos out there. So we did that via the HTML table of contents chart, and all the logos were already images that we had in Snow. And it was just a matter of capturing that image line and then adding it to the HTML code on the hub page there. So now you can just instantly see that this is a brand and you don't have to read the name. It's a little more helpful in determining that. So these are our call to action metrics for our executive leadership. So they can see at a glance what we're doing, how it's going in different areas like incidents, changes, and then problems down here. These are PA based, so you can look on a month-to-month basis. If this was, in demo mode, we could click there and we could look at January's numbers or December's numbers or November's numbers. So we could see month over month how we are progressing, if we're getting better or worse. Down here, we've left enough room to be able to put in some text box if we need to do any kind of call outs. For example, this % resolved without reassignment. We recently implemented a automatic location and routing configuration system. And so this is telling us that how well that system is doing. And what we would want to see is that this increases month over month. So if our executive, they're looking at this and they see something that's concerning, they can click right into this. It will take them directly over to the performance analytics hub, and then they can see over trend what's happening, and they can also break it down by any kind of the breakdowns that we have available, like assignment group or category, priority, those kind of things. All right. Over here, I do want to point out that we do have, a specific link out to the incident overview. So it gives overall how our incident tracking is going. And then we break it out by brand. And then we also break it out by our vendors here. So every one of these links will take you out to a different dashboard. So this is just a quick visual on how we added the logos. So on our HTML chart, we click the code view over here, and then we find the place in the coding to place the actual image for the logo. And it was as simple as that. You click that back, and then the Food Line logo actually shows up. Easy peasy. So with the addition of the data design system this quarter, we were excited about this because we were able to make each brand's chart coordinate with their specific color palette. So we have 6 different brands. We really wanted to provide, a connection to the brand that would make these charts even more appealing to them. So this is a snapshot of a Food Line chart with the brand's colors used within the chart. Now, whenever we want to create a new Food Line chart, as we're creating it, we would just come over here to the color palette and we would select the correct brand, and it would come up with the correct brand colors here. So we thought that was a cool addition that we are readily taking advantage of. All right, so this is an example of our vendor dashboard. This is a vendor that handles our call center for us. And this dashboard kind of gives detailed information on their call center stats here. And then their MTTR right here. Their SLA resolve metrics, which we saw in the snow dashboard that I presented earlier. And then their first call resolve percentage, and then a chart to show a trend over time. And you can barely see it, but there is a target right there to show if they're, meeting or not meeting that particular target. So these are all metrics that are measured in their contracts. So at a glance, they can see the most important metrics and take action if needed. And they can also see how their customers are rating them as far as how they are handling their tickets. At the close of each ticket, we send a survey out to the ticket opener to rate the analysts in 5 different areas. So each area is clickable to see. It will go back to a list view so they can see which team member is getting high scores or low scores down here. So this, again, this is just a quick and easy way for vendors, partners to be able to look and see what their stats are and what, they know our executive leadership will be looking at also. Okay, so as you can see, these dashboards, they're similar to our snow dashboards, but the difference between the snow dashboards and the VividChart dashboards is number one, the ability to share these with members outside of the snow environment. So it's going to enable us to work a lot more closely with the brands and our vendors to provide the metrics that they need and want to share with their leadership. So as both vendors and brands are trained on using VividCharts, they will have the ability to add charts, call outs to the dashboards themselves, and if they need a new KPI or metric that's not available in PA right now, we can certainly work with them to provide that when possible. So basically, we only see the use of VividCharts expanding in all areas of the company. So what are the next steps for RBS as far as VividCharts? Obviously, we've only touched on the possibilities that this tool provides. And, the more that you work in it, the more ideas are spawned about, what could be created. And the VividCharts team is responsive to questions, suggestions, and concerns. So we don't hesitate to reach out to them if we have any of those things. If we'd like to add something to a chart, they quickly respond back to us. So we're excited about that. So what we're going to do on our side is, we're going to continue to work on the tool. We're going to expand the use across the company. We're going to take advantage of every new thing the VividCharts team develops. And we're going to expand our knowledge base also in scripting. I love that API linking that Mitch just showed us. So we're trying to utilize every aspect of this tool. Because we feel this is the link that we needed from ServiceNow to our external groups. So we're all viewing the same data. we're making the best decisions based on the most current data. So we're excited to continue this journey with VividCharts team. And that's the end. Do you have any questions?
Hey, Kathy, this is Robert Fedork. How much money do we owe you for that? That was amazing.
We'll talk later.
Thank you for that, Kathy. That was awesome.
Good.
Okay, question from the audience. How did you justify the investment?
Well, I'm not sure I'm the one to speak to that, but I see the justification in the ability to provide data again to groups outside of snow. So we have all this awesome data. We've worked so hard on the PA analytics dashboards, but it resides with a set group of people. So this is information that is needed to be shared outside, and VividCharts is that conduit to do that.
So without VividCharts, you would basically be like exporting all this and putting it into presentations for those vendors and brands?
Similar to what we were doing previously, yes. So we would, obviously we can, make copies or pictures or PDFs of any of the dashboards in there. It's actually gathering all that information into one central hub that has always proved, difficult for us.
We have another question. How big is the team that supports VividCharts at your organization?
So, so right now, 2. We're a small team, and we work hard to get things done. So we have two members that work in the reporting, the PA side. So we're the ones that are working in VividCharts, but we are definitely sponsored and supported by, the director level, the VP level, and, on up.
Thanks for that, Kathy.
Mm-hmm.
You're really lighting up the team. Okay, we have a question. Do you have any gut feel on the productivity savings?
So not really at this point. I mean, we can visualize what those savings will be. We have not rolled this out to the whole because we really, like I said, we just got into realizing, what the value is. So I can't really quantitatively say what that is, but we can actually see the possibilities. That was a salesman's answer, but that's all I could, once we do roll that out, I'm sure that we're going to be able to have more of a, a hard number for that.
Okay, the last outstanding question we have for you, Kathy, is why would the teams outside of ServiceNow care to see these dashboards?
So if we're talking specifically like our brands, they definitely want to see these dashboards because they want to understand, what tickets in which category or which subcategory, how are they affecting the optimization of how our stores are working, right? So this is data that they may not have been able to see before, and I think there's a lot of data that they didn't realize that they might need to see, but it will absolutely show. It will show them a different view of things. And additionally, our brand VPs are not IT centered, so they are not readily able to see this information themselves. So sharing this outside of that is key to them actually seeing what's happening within their brands.
Okay, a follow-up question on that is how does this help the relationship with your outsourced help desk partners?
So I think the main thing there is that they know and understand now that this information is going to be shared, up the chain. So they are more involved with, what is being put out on these particular dashboards, and, actually getting, down and deep into the data to see how they can, affect those numbers also.
All right. We don't have any more questions towards Kathy at the moment. Mitch, we do have a question. Will this API allow for filtering PA dashboards by the breakdowns associated with their indicator sources?
Yeah, I'll answer that in just a second. Kathy, that was fantastic. Really appreciate it. That was really helpful for everybody, I'm sure, especially me. Great to see, great presentation, good stuff. Really appreciate it. One last thing I want to say before we potentially have people dropping off. We as part of our new website, we also launched a new community site that we're trying to get off the ground. We know it's going to take a little bit of time, and we know we're going to need all of your all's help. So if you get a chance sometime, head to our website and you'll see under the resources tab, you'll see a community link. Just hop in there, create an account. It shouldn't take much time at all. Subscribe to the threads that you find important to what you're doing on a daily basis. And we're going to try building that community out to help with, not just VividCharts, but we want it to be a good safe space and a good kind of idea hub for anything in-platform reporting related, whether it's us or out of the box reporting or PA. That's really the intention there. So I do urge you all to do that. Back to the question, will this API feature allow for filtering PA dashboards by the breakdowns associated with the indicator sources? I don't believe we'll have that in this first version, but as I alluded to, we really have gotten the bones in place here where that is the type of thing that we're wanting to add in coming releases. So this really can support a lot and really hide a lot of the complexity, like I mentioned, underneath it. So those are the types of things that you should definitely keep an eye out for. And as you have specific ideas for the chart API like that, please send them our way, because that's the type of feedback we're 100% looking for.